Belief is to attach yourself to a notion that you don't know is true or not. That's fine. I don't think that's logical, but it's okay. Whatever makes people happy. But what I'm trying to do is nothing but placing forward practical things that people can employ into their lives. And if they do it, they will ascend into their real God energy, their God body, their God culture.
Mike Rashid, live like a lion, entrepreneur, businessman, fitness guru, just an all-around badass dude. I think the first time we had him on the show, dude, he was knocking out this bag. I think he challenged Jake Paul to a fight. I think he's taking Jake.
I think so, too.
Anyway, please welcome to the show, live like a lion, the one and only Mike Rashid, ladies and gentlemen.
This way.
My guy.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Mike Rashid in the house.
In the building.
How you feeling, man?
It's technically not a house, it's a building.
It's a building.
It's a
what do you think about the
HQ.
building? What do you think?
It's incredible. You already know this is an incredible place, what I think about it. Especially the back room, the little boom boom room.
The boom boom room.
It's fire.
You know, they say there's no sex in the champagne room.
What?
I don't know anything about any of that.
Chris Rock.
Good.
I don't know nothing about none of that.
Good.
Anyway, how you been, man? What's new in your world?
I've been good, man. Finishing touches on a book that I've been working on for some time. It's a framework of a religion that I'm launching, a philosophy, a way of life that's very modern, very practical, something that people need. It's a solution to a lot of the issues that people are having, and it's a direct pathway to, real sovereignty for each person who adheres to these principles that I'm suggesting. So that, just business, growing my community. We're positioning Ambrosia for a 9-figure exit in the near future, and that's it. Just staying true to who I am and conquering this world, conquering life.
Now, I heard you say something. I don't want to gloss over this. Did you say you're launching a religion?
Correct.
All right. Okay. All ears. Explain.
Yeah, basically, it's called the Infinite God Body, right? And the principle behind it is, the human mind literally creates all reality, right? So if you think about it, people have been stripped from and separated from divinity, like true divinity, right? If you look at scripture, like Yeshua, who they say called Jesus, he proclaimed that he was God or he was of God. And he told people, ye are gods, right? In scripture, God says to people like, y'all are gods too, right? But nobody grows up thinking that, right? Nobody thinks that they're special, right? People have, they just take on this cloak of humility, of being small, being meek, right? They've been programmed to have a slave morality, right? And the people teaching them the slave morality happen to be people who are religious figures, leaders, right? Because if you look at the history of the world, the kings of religion, the kings of government, they're all in cahoots. They're all hand in hand, right? So, and typically people in these high positions don't want anybody challenging their positions. They don't want people smart, right? Think about the American public. It's power in numbers, right? United we stand, divided we fall. But people are divided, and that's by design. They don't want people being collectively strong. They don't want people being powerful, right? Because it threatens their position. But I think that is a nefarious way of maintaining your position and being rich and being wealthy and being powerful. Listen, the most sustainable way of being rich, being wealthy, and being powerful is being useful, is providing value and helping people. If I help somebody, they reward me, they compensate me, right? So there's two types of master moralities. On one side, there's kings that will keep people in a state of like darkness, of ignorance, of fear, right? And then there's another king, a master morality, kings of that will ascend to their levels by being good people and also by helping people, by teaching other people that they are gods, that they are of divinity, right? So that's what this whole thing is about. If you look at religion, no knock to religion, I think religion is very necessary because people essentially are animals, right? And some people need to be told, don't do this, don't do that, stay right here in this line. You need that for order.
Of course.
However, things need to change, right? You haven't had a new book in 3,000 years, right? Why are things not being modified and adjusted to 8 billion people being in this world right now, right? When you look at 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, maybe 1 million people, maybe, right? It was not densely populated. It was a completely different planet, different ideologies. And if you keep, the further back you go in history, right, up to a degree, people lived very savage. You lived in a time when there had to be a 10 commandment.
Yeah, like, this is the safest time in world history. Yeah. This is, people are living longer than ever. I'm with you.
Yeah, so as civilization advances, we have new things. We have things that people had no idea can exist back when these books were written. So we need a new book, right? So this is spirituality in its finest. And when I say spirituality, is very practical things. Things like working out every day. That's a spiritual thing that you could do because that's taking care of this divine vessel that you have because this is all you got, right? And is placing responsibility on each person, right? If I am my God, that means I'm my devil. If my life is hell, it's my fault, right? So the moment you start blaming everybody and putting everything on everybody else, you're giving away your power, right? And I'm telling people to be powerful, to be mighty. And that's what the divine God body is about. The book is called, the infinite God body. The book is called the divine quintessence. The quintessence is the sacred scribe.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. And Nat's getting a little bit closer to her Catholic faith. I'm sure you have some questions here. So I'm taking notes because I'm learning. By the way, we talked backstage just for a little bit, for like 5 minutes, saw some of your guys. We didn't get into any of this. So I'm genuinely learning this for the first time. And I'm all ears, bro. Yeah. Here's my first question regarding that. There's a religion, right? Then there's people that are like, no, I don't really believe in religion. I'm spiritual. Basically, like every girl I've ever dated, I'm spiritual. And then there's like a way of life, right? Religion, spirituality, way of life. What would this be more closely to?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call anything. The principle behind all are the same. A person that's religious, a person that's spiritual, and a person that wants to adhere to a way of life is typically to find some form of salvation, right? It's typically to like have a good life. Yep. It's typically to be happy. So I don't care what you call it. It doesn't matter.
The thing,
but
yeah, go ahead.
One thing, Adam, sorry to cut you off, but
no, good.
This is what I want to address. These are the things that I want to address. People are adhering to ideas and ideologies instead of reality, right? So when you have a distinction between religion, way of life, and spirituality, you're missing the point. It doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you are doing the things to live a good life. You feel me? I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, well, that's spirituality. Like, okay, you're right. No, that's religion. Yep, you're right. As long as you're doing the things, that's all that matters. And when you look at quote unquote religious people, you don't have that, right? You have people adhering to ideologies based on their interpretation of said scripture. There's no nuance, there's no common sense being used. Matter of fact, scripture is at the mercy of each person's interpretation. Just because your pastor said this means X, Y, Z, it may mean something to you if you read it.
Correct.
It may mean something to you, different to you if you read it, right? Because your understanding of things are going to be different based on what you know, based on where you are, physically, geographically in the world, but also where you are just in your life, right? All of these things matter, but nobody reads. You know how many times people argue with me about scripture? I'm like, I know you don't read it because it doesn't say any of that, right? Or it says this and you leaving this out. So people don't read. People have the idea of religion. People are born into whatever religion. And listen, if you're programmed something from birth and they're telling you if you go against this, you burn in hell forever, you're like, no, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a kid, I had mad anxiety about going to hell. I'm like, yo, I gotta ask for forgiveness every 5 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What was your religion at birth?
I'm a Muslim by
born,
faith.
okay.
Yeah. But it was pushed on me so literally, like everything, right?
Yeah.
And I have friends, adult friends, that take so many things as literal. I'm like, so you mean like literally? They're like, yeah, Aki. And I'm like, all right, that's what's up. I'm not gonna argue people off of their box.
Yeah.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Your path is your path. And I'm not gonna tell anybody they're wrong, right?
So by the way, mesmerizing stuff. I fully agree that there's on one hand an ideologue, you know, and on the other hand is sort of a pragmatist. Listen, ideologue is like, no, I believe this is what, and the pragmatist is like, no, this is what we're dealing with right here. You were born a Muslim. You know, I have conversations with whether it's Muslims, whether it's Christians, whether it's Jews. It's like, you know, this is the Abrahamic religions, right? How literal should you take the Bible? How literal should you take the Quran? So, for instance, you know, it's funny because I've read the Torah. I had a conversation. Shout out to Danny back here, who's a follower of Jesus, is what he calls himself. Also, my friend Ruslan, who sent me some stuff. You're gonna laugh right now. I didn't fully realize that the Bible is just the Jewish Torah with the 200 more pages. It's like I opened it up, the Bible. And it was the first 800 pages. I'm like, yeah, this is the Torah. This is the books of Moses.
All three books have the same foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then it was just the Old Testament, New Testament. So here's my question. So I would have conversations with people and say, so there's the story about Jonah and the whale. Do you know this story? That Jonah apparently lived in a whale for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't know. Jonah's hanging out in a whale.
So I'm gonna ask you this.
How literal should you take scripture?
Mean? What does that mean to you? When you read that story, what did it mean to you?
That specific story about Jonah and the whale?
Yeah.
I'd be remiss to tell you I knew exactly what that story was, because once I hear a dude's living out in a whale, I'm like, yeah, all right, bro.
What about you, Nat?
I think, like you said, it depends on the message and where you're at. You know, for me, that story is someone is locked in a space where they're not able to get out. Right. And so that's the base of that story. That's what I get from that.
Right.
So,
and I'm sure there's a lot, like, we can really have a conversation on what you just said. Like, what does that actually mean, right? But that's the key, though. That's what no one does. No one like uses any logic and any reasoning. Like, what does this make sense? I mean, what does this mean? So, for instance, Jacob, right? He wrestled with the divine figure, right? And he did such a good job. The divine figure anointed him with the name Israel. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? That story.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Jacob's ladder, climbing his way to heaven. You know, it's biblical times are the foundation of culture, tradition, life. In general, here's the way I look at it, to maybe give a macro perspective.
Right.
You can either get closer to God, closer to the Bible, closer to those stories, or further away. What I'm not an advocate of, speaking of ideologues, are extremists. Some people are like, this is the way it is, that's the way it said it in the book. And the other extreme is, oh, I don't care about any of that. The 10 Commandments, the rules that we've always abided by, tradition. So for me, it's finding a balance of where this should be in your life. And there's a point, you know, I'm a pretty moderate dude, which we're going to talk a little bit in a sec. I'm sort of always hovering in the middle. I can do this, I can do this. But as you trend a certain direction, like I was reading books like Richard Dawkins, God is not good. I was like, as you go down this path, it's like, how is this benefiting me? Like I see Bill Maher, who does Religiousness, and he's like, you know, I don't really hate religion. He goes, hold on. Yes, I do. I don't know if that helps you. Right. So I'm gravitating a lot more towards belief. So the Jacob concept, I don't know how literal I take these things, but I want to take them a little bit more serious.
Okay, so how I took it, it was like an internal struggle, one's own personal jihad, if you will, of going to war with your lower nature, right? And that's a very hard fight. It's a divine fight, right? And this man fought it, and he was awarded with something beautiful, right? So it's nuanced. It's like, what does this mean to me versus it being taken as literal. Because here's the thing, these like that, like say for instance, the Bible, Old Testament in particular, was written in Aramaic, a language that no longer exists in Hebrew, right?
PBD actually speaks that. And Vinny.
And there are those languages, Arabic. There are no direct translations for a lot of the words.
Yeah, a lot gets lost in translation. No doubt.
A lot of the characters in the words, right? So you're not getting exactly whatever they were trying to communicate. For one, for two, you have what's called canon, the canon Bible, right? The canon Bible. This book is supposed to be about Yeshua, right? And I like to use proper terminology because it matters, right? I don't know who Jesus is, right? I don't know who this Jesus guy is, right? But Yeshua was the guy.
Call him Yeshua.
He was the man. It's supposed to be about him. Very little of the book, if you really read it, is about him, right?
The Bible, you're saying.
Correct. And the people who actually executed him were the people who crafted the Bible and took a lot out and put this in. You feel me? And they also added extra things in it to appease their people, the Romans particular, to make that transition from pagan to monotheism, to keep their traditions in there so it was comfortable for them, right? Because there's things in the Bible, well, not in the Bible, there's things in Christianity, for instance, that have nothing to do with anything. Like Christmas has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. The tradition of Christmas has a lot to do with other cultures that were contrary to the teachings of Yeshua. Easter have nothing to do with the man. It was counter what Yeshua taught.
Well, when consumerism and merchandisism and capitalism gets infused to religion,
all of this is bad.
Let's sell some Easter eggs.
All of this is bad.
Yeah.
All this is bad. So anyway, what we are bringing about, right? People can believe whatever they want, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter to me, right? Belief is to attach yourself to a notion that you don't know is true or not. That's fine. I don't think that's logical, but it's okay. Whatever makes people happy. But what I'm trying to do is nothing but placing forward practical things that people can employ into their lives. And if they do it, they will ascend into their real God energy, their God body, their God culture.
A 10 commandments of the infinite God body or anything like that?
This is not to replicate these things.
Oh, no, your own 10. It could be 2 commandments, 10 commandments, 5, 6.
No. Because I didn't like model it after that. It's its own unique thing.
What are the foundations of it? What are the fundamentals?
It's a lot. It's a lot. That's the thing. But the main thing is this, right? It's simple. Life's what you make it. The main thing is life is what you make it. The main thing is it has everything to do with the human mind creating all reality, literally and philosophically, right? Because your life is a sum total of all the decisions that you make.
Yes.
It has nothing, your wins or failures have nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with you, right? So, and this is what I'm giving people. And once people really understand that and accept that and let it, like, take that seed and plant it and let it grow, if you're wise enough, you're going to live a good life because you're going to do the things to take care of yourself. You're going to do the things to make yourself a valuable where you are. You're going to do the things that make yourself healthy, to make yourself wise, to make yourself powerful, all of the things, right? Women will align themselves with intelligent, strong, powerful men. Men will, reciprocate, and men will, rise into that divine masculine to qualify themselves for these incredible women. The amalgamation of the divine masculine and feminine will permeate, and it'll be a better place. It will be a better place. There are, I do have a lot of solutions to the problems of our modern society in the book, right? Listen, we live in a wild place. It's wild. We live in a way that is not. Look, our programming is to pass on our DNA, our genes, right? Our create progeny so that our species can survive. But what we're doing is contrary to that. How we are living, right? We're going to wipe ourselves out. It's going to happen. You feel me? It's so many routes, it's so many ways, so many things that we're doing that's going to wipe us out. Animals don't do this. Now, we may look at animals as simple and they don't have, the degree of consciousness that we have. They don't have the neurons or the frontal lobe, but they're not doing things to wipe out their species. We are. So hopefully we can, this book, maybe not in my lifetime or my kids' lifetime or whatever, but somebody's going to be like, you know what? We're really fucking up. Let's employ this right here. Right? I have very specific things in the book about different problems.
One more question, because I want to cover a few other topics with you, but you said something earlier. You talked about the concept of jihad, which is Arabic for the struggle. And I've heard multiple different things. Is it an internal struggle? Is it an external struggle? Not my position to basically try to define that. But you're a Muslim.
I'm a god.
Okay, I want to understand that you're saying you're a god, a demigod. People say, what does that mean? Is it heaven on earth? In the Christian church, the Catholic church, if you try to leave the church, there's something called the excommunication. In Islam, there's a term for, I don't know, it's Sharia law, whatever it is. When you leave the faith, do you still consider yourself a Muslim? Calling yourself a god? How does this basically what would Muhammad say? What would Allah say? Explain this to me. And what would Muslims say to what you're saying?
If y'all believe in God and submit to the will of God, y'all are Muslims as well. That's all it means, right? I'm going to always be a Muslim because I will always submit to the will of Allah, to the will of God. That's the will of nature. That's the will of the flow of all things. Straight away, a plant submits to the will of God because a plant, it has chlorophyll. It receives energy through photosynthesis, and it grows. It gives out oxygen to us. It takes in carbon. That is merely being a Muslim. That is merely the submission to nature. So I'll always be that, right? People that are not that are people that do things that are like change their genders. You're not submitting to the will of nature. You feel me? And not to pick on those people, but I'm just saying that's all it means. It's not some crazy thing. I got to do this ritual to be this or that. It's just a word, right? So anyway, what was your other question?
No, what do other Muslims say to you when they hear you say stuff like this?
I say, I'm a peace God. They say peace God to me. I recognize them as a God. I'm giving them their respect. The ones that know who they are, right? Listen, you read your scripture. If people read scripture, they would all be speaking like that. They don't even read scripture, right? Now here's the thing. Yeshua was killed partly for multiple reasons, but one of them, he was at odds with the religious factions that ran things at the time,
Pharisees,
the Jewish Pharisees. Yeah. And he was at odds with the occupying government of Palestine, which was Romans, right? But one thing that the religious Pharisees did not like was him calling himself a god and telling people that y'all are God. Aren't ye all gods? You know what I'm saying? So they had to get him out of here. What does that mean, right? That can be symbolic and that can be literal. What he's telling people, now there's a lot of nuance in there. There's a book, what's considered apocryphal gospel called the Gospel of Thomas, which has 140 teachings of Yeshua. Why is that in the Bible? It's weird. But anyway, so there's a lot of nuance to how he was empowering people, right? But you just see in the Bible, he's saying he's God and y'all are gods, right? What he's doing is a lot more than that. He's teaching, he's educating, he's leading the way and showing people how to tap into their divine nature, right? Living by example, okay? So they didn't like that. Just like anybody of note, like one of my spiritual fathers, Minister Farrakhan, he's banned from this, he's banned from that. He's labeled a racist, he's labeled an anti-Semite, right? And he's never done anything negative to nobody. The sum total of his life is not producing violent people, is not drug scandals, is not infidelity scandals, right? He raised was real conservative people, real spiritual people, real people who know who they are, they love themselves and they love other people. That's all he's done. But what they do is these figureheads or these people, these quote unquote gatekeepers, they want to silence people like Yeshua, like my minister, like other people who are truth tellers. They don't want them out there because they don't want people hearing that. Look, Malcolm X, he was fine until white people started listening to him. Nah, shut him up, get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King, you have this image of Martin Luther King like, oh, like we shall overcome. And nah, he really woke up and he started speaking some real truth. They got him out of there. It was more what they would consider radical. And it wasn't super peaceful, right? Get him out of there. They don't want that. JFK was on some real shit. Get him out of there, right? this is, and look, here's the thing. We now have the Freedom of Information Act to where we can see like, oh, yeah, the government put this stuff together, right? And the government's always put these things together. But people are so busy, they're so convoluted, they're so enthralled with TikTok and in their phones.
Yep.
Nobody gives a shit. There's UFOs floating around and nobody gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I'll never forget. Before we move on to the next topic, dude, you're so deep. I'll never forget when I was doing stand-up. I owned a comedy club down in South Beach, next bodega. I remember this guy get on stage, weird-looking dude, white guy, lanky, pasty, and
Was he
like,
an alien?
Huh?
He's an alien.
I don't know.
Maybe.
He goes, I gotta tell you. He had like this kind of like Dave Chappelle squeaky voice. He goes, let me tell you something. I could land on the moon. 7 likes. This girl does a thirst trap. 1 million likes.
That's a fact.
People, your priorities are all out of whack. It's a very interesting concept right there. But next topic that I want to get into, because guys, if you're finding value for what's going on, Mike Rashid, listen, you're not getting these interviews typically. Deep stuff here. You know, talking about the government, what the government wants you to know. We're in election season right now. 40% of the world is having elections this year. We're seeing what happened in Venezuela, chaos. We're seeing what's going on in Haiti. India just had an election. Iran, new election. It's just crazy. We're about to have the American election in 3 months. The leading candidate is still Donald Trump. We'll see what's going to happen here. A lot of people call him a martyr. Some people say that he's a demigod. Some people say he's a demigod. Who knows what's going on with that? How close are you following the election? Where do you stand politically right now?
I'm not political. I'm apolitical. I would never subscribe to any of these factions, right? Look, it doesn't matter.
Have you ever voted?
I voted once.
Who'd you vote for?
For Barack Obama, of course.
Come on now.
The first time.
08 or 12?
The first time.
So and what was the reason you voted in 08? And what was the reason? Straight up.
Black man. Yeah.
So you're doing the identity politics things, Mike.
Whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why didn't you vote for him in 2012?
Because I seen that he was just a puppet. You know what I'm saying?
So that was the first and only time you voted.
Correct.
So Kamala Harris, first black woman to maybe get elected. Would you vote for her?
Nah. I mean, I'm not voting for anybody anymore.
You're
I don't
done.
believe
You're one
in
and done.
voting. I don't even believe in voting. Like,
Why?
Really? Listen, I just don't care.
We need help.
I don't care. But hold on.
Vote.
Do you think any of those are going to help you? Biden, Kamala or Trump? You think any of them are going to help you in a meaningful way? Honestly.
I do, honestly.
Okay.
I do. I genuinely do. I think you have two candidates representing two different realities, and they're two different representation of what the country would be represented by. So I do think that, yes.
Well, here's the reality, though. Right?
But I will say, Adam always says, you're in charge of your house. So at the end of the day, you have to, do the things on your part. But I do think electing, a certain candidate in that role would make a difference.
Okay, so check this out. The United States is a very unique place. Very interesting, right? Because you have a federal government, and then each state has a state government. And then each county has a county government.
Right.
City government, town, the whole nine, right?
Yep. Right.
So it's hundreds of sovereign entities under one umbrella. The federal government is maybe a degree above pageantry of the British Parliament, right? Maybe a degree above the king and the queens, right? Listen, think about when Donald Trump was in, how much he complained about not being able to get anything done. Why? It's bureaucracy. Oh, I want to do this. All right, pass it over here. We got to vote.
Executive orders.
It's too many people for things to happen in a meaningful way. And that's a good thing, because there will never be, I'm not going to say never, but it makes it more difficult for us to have pure tyranny, right? So, and this is not a nation of a king. This is a nation of a bunch of entities, right? So what's more important is your local government, not the president. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This is real shit.
Yep.
They're both hustlers. Both sides are hustlers, right? Going after the bag. And everybody in their space, look, they're getting the biggest sponsors, right, to help their campaign. These people are investing their money in these people so that they can have favors when they're in office.
The donors, the lobbyists.
Make things happen. Let's not think that Trump is not a balling ass billionaire dude that's out for the bag, right?
Oh, yeah.
Does he care about people? I don't know. I think he cares about himself and his bottom line, and that's normal. I'm not even saying nothing's wrong with that. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with the other side either. I don't like the fact that politics or quote unquote leadership can be so selfish, but they're humans, and that's what happens. None of these people care about none of us, right? There's laws in place, right? To where, let's say, all right, so you like Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say Trump's in office and he's running, and let's say Biden beats him, right? Which happened, whatever.
Yeah.
There's not much that's going to change. The change is is minimal, and then the next cycle, when you're back in, it goes back. It keeps going back and forth. Look, the system is fair. I'm gonna say that. I know people don't think it's fair, but let me explain. You have these people with billions of dollars behind them, right? They have to do whatever it takes to win. And look, don't think that both sides are not doing the same fucking things to cheat, right? They both are, straight up. When people be saying, oh, they're cheating, like, shh, everybody's cheating. This is like when
by the way, not to cut you off, I always hear, the Democrats are cheating. It was like,
cheating.
Why are they so much better at it than you then, bro? Step your game
But
up.
here's the thing. It's not even better because I'm going to show you why. Every political cycle, whoever's the president, they win by a razor-thin margin.
Well, that's just because our country's so divided right now. I mean, there's...
But that means because things are fair. It works out. Places that real cheating matters, that really affects people, is Venezuela. When there's an 80% margin, that don't happen.
Yeah.
So out of all the voters that could have voted, because they say voter suppression here, right? But over there, 20% of the voters that can vote voted. That's real suppression. We talk too much shit here. We complain way too much.
Oh, I fully
agree. We have no idea.
That.
A 2%, a 1 to 2% victory either way, each time is fair. You're cheating and you're cheating is balancing each other out. Just like Lance Armstrong, he got popped for steroids in the Tour de France. Guess what? Everybody did. So is it really cheating? Or is it making the entertainment more entertaining? You feel me? So I don't really care about all of that shit. I don't care who's the president, honestly, because it's a big joke. Listen, when Hulk Hogan ripped his shirt off for Donald Trump, I'm like, are we literally living in idiocracy? That was a scene.
Hey, brother, you take your vitamins.
That's marketing, though.
You
got Megan Thee Stallion twerking on the stage, though.
That's whack, too.
Yeah.
We are literally, I don't want that as a representation. That's all they have, so I just tune it out. It doesn't exist to me, because that shit is embarrassing.
What'd you think when Amber Rose showed up on stage?
I didn't see it. I don't watch these things.
You don't even do it. You don't even focus on it.
I don't care. Look, you know what I care about?
Yeah.
Making money.
But shouldn't you care then?
I do
the
care.
economy.
Listen,
that also affects that.
In a good way. I make it affect me in a good way.
Okay.
None of these candidates, whoever's been president since I've been doing my thing, has affected me negatively. I'm not a dummy. I'm not going to sit back and just let things happen.
Sure.
Right? I'm going to be with wise counsel in regards to my assets, making sure that I'm good. Like I was back there right now with my crypto people like, yo, what's happening right now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm always going to be fine. And look, I'm not even like, I have very little money in any traditional financial institution. Very little. I'm a DeFi guy. I don't fuck with the system at all.
Really?
I don't trust it.
So last one before we move on to this next one. I always say focus on your house, not the White House. So there's a major part of what you're doing that I totally respect.
Right.
Because I tell people when it comes to politics, especially people that are online, bro, if you're going to be involved in politics, either be all in, like on the PPD podcast that we're talking politics left and right, or just stay the hell out of it. Because if you try to be in the middle of like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, sometimes I follow it, sometimes I don't, you know what happens when you're in the middle of the road? You get run over. So I fully can appreciate someone like you that's like, yo, bro, I just do me. I'm DeFi. Forget about it. I'm out on that. But last point to you. You said that you voted for Obama straight up because he was black in 2008. All good. I know a lot of people that did that.
Yeah.
But there is a dangerous game here with the whole DEI situation right now. So like Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She's now the quote unquote anointed candidate. We're going to see what happens. I think it's going to be her. We know that.
Let's calibrate.
But let me ask you this question. This is all you. You got people like Charlemagne the God that basically said, listen, DEI, let me tell you, DEI, they got to plug in a white guy to be her VP because we got to DEI that thing too, which is sort of like reverse DEI. Boom, announcement.
I want to touch on a point you made,
she
though,
selects
before I forget.
Governor Tim Walz out of Minnesota, old white dude, to be her running mate. So there's going to be a lot of people in this election that are going to vote for her straight up just because she's black. There she is right there. You said, hey, I wasn't really feeling this whole thing. Essentially, what's your concept on the whole DEI, identity politics, Kamala, white guy, Trump? You saw he was arguing with the black politicians.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. I'm not a fan of Harris, right? But let's be fair.
Why
right?
though? Why are you not a fan of her?
Because her record towards the black community is horrendous. Okay?
Why is that? Because she locked people up back in the day?
Like we can get into that, but let me address the elephant in the room that no one addresses when they speak of these things. When they say DEI or affirmative action or whatever. Yeah. Whenever a president has to step down, the vice president has to step up. Yep. It's not like she got picked because she's black. That's not happening. But
I'm with you on that.
Okay, that should be talked about.
She got picked to be the VP because she was black, though.
Well, I don't know.
I'm telling you, Mike.
How do you know that? Who did somebody hear me out? Hear me out.
That's not my opinion.
Let's deal with facts. Yeah. Is there is there a document that said we picked her because she's black?
I don't think they would document that.
Hold on.
At the time,
if there's not, you can't say that's a fact.
So hold on.
You can't say.
Hear me
it's
out.
Speculation.
Hear me out. They made an announcement. So like right now, there's a lot going on.
She's
that's
not even black. So what are we talking about?
What do you mean? How you say she's not black? What do you mean?
She's Indian.
She's half black, half Indian. She's biracial.
Okay. She don't look black to me.
She's not.
Listen, man, I'm not out here.
Yeah, but I've been in the sun.
She's outside. But in 2020, they literally said, "Hey, listen, we're making an announcement."
Color. Black is not always a skin color.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's not always a skin color. She's not black. She's not black at all. There's nothing black.
What do you mean? If it's not a skin, is it her vibe, her attitude? What do you mean?
She does not subscribe to the tribe of being black in America.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You know what that means.
I'm a white boy. Am I blacker than her?
Explain it. What does that mean?
Okay, she's in politics. She's in whatever she's in. She does things that are anti-black. Okay. You can't be black if you're anti-black. Right?
Who's blacker?
Who's
her or Obama?
Obama's blacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
But here's the thing. Not for any meaningful reasons. At least he's really somewhat able to assimilate the culture.
But hold on.
She can't even do it.
Mike, you're blowing the mind over here. What's it mean to be black? Like, what are you saying? Like, she's not black.
To be black is to be like an extremely intelligent, powerful, creative person who have a big heart, who move in a spirit of divinity, right? Who move with a spirit of abundance, so on and so forth. And you protect your tribe. You don't sell your tribe out. You don't sell your people out. All right. You especially don't sell your people out for people who don't look like you because you think that that's how they accept you. They'll use you, but they do not respect you.
So when you hear things like that, by the way, love that answer. 2-part question. And we can go down the list here. What's white? What's Latino? What's Asian? Like, what does that mean? Does every culture have a certain systemic thing?
Sure. They can
and then number 2, how do you take what you just said, which is powerful and amazing and awesome, and then you look at what's going on in a lot of the inner cities, Chicago, Baltimore, New York, and the black on black crime is, out of control.
Let's talk about that.
How do you grapple with that?
Let's talk about that.
Dude, we got Mike Rashid here.
First of all, the violence in Chicago is not as bad as people think it is, right? For one. And you talk of black on black crimes.
Yeah.
There's black men, righteous black men in Chicago with suits on, no weapons, protecting these neighborhoods. Nobody else is doing it. We're protecting our own thing. We commit crime against each other because we live amongst each other. If you pull up the FBI database, white on white crime is worse than black on black crime because there's more white people, so y'all commit way more crimes against your people. People commit crimes in the neighborhoods they live in.
No doubt. I agree. People are going to do what they do. Like, bro, you get in more car accidents.
You my boy. You got to stop saying that because that shit is like so like low level,
That's not
bro.
like Adam's talking point.
No, but you're saying it.
You can pull up crime.
You're saying it, bro.
Yeah.
As if all races don't commit crimes against their races.
100%. You're absolutely right.
Why are people talking about black on black like we just hate each other? And we could talk about the hatred that we do have with each other. We could talk about that.
Explain that then.
We were taught that.
Okay.
By white people.
So they're okay.
You know
Explain. Get into it.
Okay. Many years ago, we were kidnapped, human trafficked, brought against our will to the Americas, right? To work for free under bondage, under the condition of slavery, right? We were beaten psychologically, spiritually, physically, every way, sexually, every way you can imagine, right? We were put against each other on plantations. Y'all know what a cracker is? You ever heard the term cracker?
Yeah.
What is a cracker?
White guy.
That's it? What do you think? What do you say?
Yeah.
Nope. A cracker is the person on the plantation that whips other people. And a cracker was black. They intentionally made black people whip black people, so black people hate black people, right? They intentionally put some of the black people in the house and some of them outside, right? So these on the inside hate the ones on the inside. The ones outside hate, because they're like, y'all some sellouts, y'all some suckers. These on the inside thought they were better than the ones on the outside. Like, you filthy niggas, right? So this was not our design, right? We didn't say, hey, let's hate each other. We were taught that, right? We're 3-4 generations out of slavery. A lot of people will say, man, y'all talk about slavery. Bro, it was not that long ago, right? For one, everybody's talking about race, racial politics. We didn't invent the concept of race. Europeans did. Let's not be fooled. So we have to talk about it. We didn't want that. We didn't even know what that was. Y'all invented it. Y'all put it, spread it across the world. Now it's a problem. It has to be addressed, right? It has to be addressed. But oftentimes, people who have articulated the injustices, they don't want to hear about what they did. Like, come on, man, that was so long ago. No, it's not. It's not. It literally wasn't long ago. This was one of the most recent atrocities in human history. And there was not even like any, of course it's not justified. It did so much for America. America would not be what it is without that, right? For so many reasons I can get into if you want. But we were not apologized to, and we weren't even thanked, and we weren't even paid for our labor. And yet America is a welfare state for other places who America did nothing to. But America does go and give aid and give reparations to everywhere else that America has destroyed, right? So yeah, we have to talk about. I'm gonna talk about it. I don't give a fuck, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm rich, and I still want my reparations back.
So you
and I don't want nobody telling me what to do with it. Just run me my bag.
You believe in reparations?
No, I don't believe anything. I know that reparations is due and it's fair.
Okay. So
it's not even fair, but it's the least that can be done.
So I'll give you a little glimpse into a conversation that I had. This was in 2020.
Yeah.
And I was talking with a hardcore MAGA type guy. And again, I'm pretty moderate. You don't know this about me, but you know, growing up, I was obsessed with the Civil War. I was in sports, chicks. Dude, it just, what do you mean? It was like in America here, I love America. You know, my family had to escape Russia, Bolshevik Revolution, then the Holocaust, came into America. In America, I loved it. My dad loved JFK, all this, the whole thing, and I loved Lincoln, all this. And then I started learning. I was like, I saw the movie Glory. That's what it was. Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman. You see that movie?
No.
Oh, bro.
I'm not a big fan of
these
kind of
Glory.
I know what it is. I'm not a big fan of like American
Matthew Broderick.
Glory.
Like, it was the
I'm
first.
not a fan of like white American Glory when black people.
No, this was
I'm sorry. I don't know
the first black infantry to fight in the Civil War, dude. And there's a famous scene of Denzel crying. Dude, it's powerful as hell. So the point is this. I empathize with this, and I started having a conversation with this guy, meaning like I'm an ally to you.
Okay.
Like you hear the LG, the P, the T, I'm an ally. It's like I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right.
But I was an ally. I was like, dude, what the hell was this all about? And I started getting an argument with this guy, and he goes, yeah, it wasn't just the blacks, bro. There's a white guy, MAGA guy. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, the Irish had it bad too.
He's right.
I said, what?
He's right.
So he's like, the Irish, this, that, the other. Now I go, bro, I don't know much about the Irish. I'll do my research. But I don't get, like, this is me being emotional. I don't know what are you about to say? The Irish didn't have as bad as this, as the black guys in the country.
That's a fact.
Okay. So then we went down the slippery slope. It goes, and now he's basically, like, if we had this conversation on camera, canceled, you're racist, you're this. But I'm like, for me, I'm like, this conversation we're having now, I'm like, I want more of this.
Right.
I want a black Muslim man teaching a white Jewish guy. This is what I think of me pushing back and saying,
Black
this and
God.
that. We need more of this. What?
Yeah, black God.
There it is.
Yeah.
So I say to him, I go, what are you trying to say right now? He goes, there's been slavery in every corner of the earth. He goes, your Jews were enslaved in Egypt for 1,000 years. Oh, yeah, I knew that. So in America today, here's what I've learned. You tell me, say, Adam, you're wrong.
Let's talk about it.
You're absolutely right. In America, blacks are mistreated. The whole conversation about systemic racism, no doubt. But then there's also the other thing of how long are you going to perpetuate that? What's the time frame? Meaning, victimhood or victim culture, if you play into that too long, man, that's tough to get out of.
Let's address that.
So how long can you basically relish in that and live in that with that? Because there's some black people out there he's like, yeah, no, I'm not. I do what the hell ever I want. I'm not enslaved. I do what the hell I want. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not in chains. I'll do what I want. I'm not you're not going to victimize me. I don't care, whatever. A lot of people think like that. Morgan Freeman even said that. Where do you grapple with, I want my reparations. I want my payback. But bro, I'm free. I do what the hell I want. I'm a millionaire. I don't give a shit. How do you grapple through that?
I am free. I'm a free man. I'm a free thinker. I'm an independent, sovereign person, right? And I am a millionaire many times over. But I still want my bag. And I'm not a victim. My ancestors were victims, right? If my ancestors were not victims, I might be a billionaire right now in Timbuktu. I might be the ruler of Mali right now. I might be the ruler of Kemet. Who knows? I might have never been living in cold weather like I grew up in New York. That's not my culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, there should be reparations because there was an abhorrent history-altering event that took place at my people's expense that nobody reconciled. So that for people to say you holding on to a victim, no, I'm holding on to truth that things that happen in history. I'm not a victim. It didn't happen to me, right? Happened to my ancestors. And y'all need to run our bags like you do for everybody else, right? If I run you over in the street in my car, right? And let's say you die, I still gotta pay your family whatever I gotta pay your family, right? I owe y'all money. I owe you restitution for what I've done to you, right? Now let's go back, before I address that, let's go back to the Irish guy, right? Irish people got treated like shit, 100%. Irish people were slaves. There were slaves everywhere in all nations of the earth, right? But chattel slavery is unique to what Arabs did to us and what whites did to us. There was no chattel slavery in other places, right? Slavery was a normal thing. You might owe a debt, or you can't pay me. You have to be my indentured servant for however long to work that off, right? Or you are on the other side and we're at war and we catch y'all. Y'all gonna work for us for free, right? And then at some point you get your freedom or whatever, or maybe you're not. But the chattel slavery, we were literally branded like animals. We had to wear white people's names on us, right? Green, John, Johnson. These are not our names, right? Everything, all of these things that we had to do, man, we gotta talk about this, bro. We are not gonna just act like it didn't happen, because that's some bullshit, right? Imagine if they did that with your people. That would be bullshit, right?
Of course.
Okay, so that happened to my people here in America, my people in the Congo. 20 million of us was killed in the Congo by Leopold II, right? 20 million by Belgium, right? They don't even talk about that. And that's not a disputed number. And then in addition to the 20 million, the other guys, because they wanted to save bullets, they would cut the men's hands off. And in agricultural times, what good is a man without his hands? There's no technology for fucking cyborg hands. This is what happened to my people, none of which have ever been addressed in a meaningful way. You probably didn't. I bet y'all didn't even know about Leopold killing 20 million,
Belgium. Yeah, I know.
20 million blacks.
Well, this is all part of the colonialism, imperialism, and there's a lot of countries that, Britain, France, Netherlands.
Run the bag.
Yeah, I mean.
Run the bag.
So,
Run the bag.
Dude, I can talk to you about.
We got the money.
I can talk to you.
They just print money. During COVID, they print mad money.
We learned about modern monetary theory.
They print mad money. Print my money.
Dude, Rashid.
Who do I talk to get my money?
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Who do I email? You know what I'm saying?
Here's where I want to go with the last question because we got to wrap up in the next 10 minutes.
Before you go on, what do you think about what I said, honestly?
What do I think about?
I think you're a good person, right?
Okay, ask me the question.
And I think you can understand like objective truths, right? Not ideologies.
Sure.
What do you think about the facts that I just stated? The fact that, let's forget about, I'm not going to talk about Congo, all these other things, but what do you think about the fact that Africans from Western Africa was brought over here and forced into servitude?
I'll give you an answer.
No, hold on. Let me finish it.
Yeah.
And we're tricked into fighting into these wars to help America become sovereign, right? Other Africans in Haiti fought off Britain, Spain, and then France.
Yep.
Peep this. A lot of people don't know this. Bankrupted Napoleon, right, from these wars. So Napoleon had to sell, because at the time, the United States was small. It was a strip, 13 colonies, right? Louisiana belonged to France. Back then, America was like Europe, a bunch of countries, right? So Louisiana was not just Louisiana. Louisiana went all the way up the middle of the country.
The Louisiana Purchase, Thomas Jefferson.
All the way up to Canada. You know why that happened? Because Haiti beat the shit out of France.
Touvesson, what was his name?
Yes.
What was his name?
You said it right.
Yeah. With the French accent, too.
They bankrupted France. Yeah. France had to sell Louisiana to America for dirt cheap. Can you pull up how much America bought Louisiana from France for? The
Louisiana Purchase, I want to say.
That made America a superpower.
I want to say $30 million. I'm going to guess.
Maybe. That position.
I'm going to guess.
But listen.
Let's see if I paid attention in history class.
That positioned America
Louisiana
to be a superpower.
Purchase.
$15 million.
I doubled it.
$15 million.
I would have given you 30.
Even if it was 340
brother, but this
million.
is in 1803. This is like 15 trillion
Hold on.
now. Yeah.
But no, it's not. It's 340 million today.
Okay, gotcha. There we go.
See, we gotta be accurate with the things we say.
All right.
You think half of America is worth $340 million? That's still a robbery.
I mean, we're a $27 trillion economy.
Okay. So that's because of black people from Africa. You feel me? That was brought over here. They didn't ask to come over here.
Yeah.
You feel me? So now we here. We were brought here. We were taught race. We didn't invent race. We had no concept of race. Race is not scientific, right? It was created to perpetuate colonization, colonialism, right? All of these things happen. America is now the Dons. So what do we do now? Honestly, what do we do?
Okay. I'm going to answer your question. We got to wrap up at 6:15.
All right.
So this is actually bringing everything back together. And then I'm going to give you some homework.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
So the first conversation we had was about being an ideologue versus being a pragmatist.
Okay.
Right?
This is what I want you to do.
Hold on, brother. Let me get this out.
Let's make the rules, though. Let's make the rules for it. I asked a direct question.
Yes.
Just give me a direct answer. Because, look, I don't want you to keep going, playing mental jujitsu, and then we never get back to it.
I'm coming right to you.
Let's go.
I'm coming right to you.
Let's go, baby. Come on, Adam.
Ideologue.
Okay.
I believe this is what we need. I believe this is
I don't believe anything, but go ahead.
No, okay. Well, you believe in this? You believe in reparations?
No, I know facts.
Okay.
I know what's fair.
Okay.
I know that when people hurt somebody else, they have to have some form of atonement.
So
that's normal. That's reciprocity. Listen, you cannot have day without night. This universe does not exist without reciprocity. All right? So let's just keep that. That's a fact. But go ahead.
Well,
it's not a belief.
Polarity is real. Man, woman.
No beliefs. I have no beliefs.
Sun, moon, everything. I'm with you on that.
I have no beliefs, brother.
So reparations. Ideological, pragmatic. So ideological is like, this is what I believe. Pragmatic is like, yo, here's a plan.
Right.
So what I would do, because you see stuff in California right now, because they propose this in California. They're not proposing it in the South, where maybe it should be the number one place they should do
I don't know
it.
if you know that.
Those were the slave states. What they did propose this in California, San Francisco.
I don't know if it's true that they have not proposed that.
I've heard zero proposals, and I cover politics.
You heard none, but you don't know.
If it didn't make the news, then I don't know the secret that's going on.
Just say you don't know, because that's fair, right?
I'm saying I've not heard of any.
Right, or you don't believe.
No, I have not heard of any.
Okay.
I have heard. Yeah. Pull up San Francisco reparations.
Yeah, no, I understand. You haven't heard of any.
I haven't heard of any.
I got you.
Show me Alabama.
No, that's an accurate statement.
Show me Mississippi. Show me South Carolina.
I don't know. I'm not
saying
San Francisco
what?
San Francisco reparations.
But none of that matters. I just want you to answer the question.
So what I'm saying is, okay, scroll down and put news.
We got 5 minutes. I need that answer, brother. We got 5 minutes.
San Francisco apologized to black residents for decades of policies. California wasn't a slave state. California wasn't a slave state. It was a free state. It wasn't even. California became a state in what, 1849? That's why it's the 49ers, the gold rush out there.
Okay.
So what I would say is, I'm on your team. Let's say I want to be on your team. Yo, Mike, let's make this shit happen. Where's the plan?
Okay,
Where's the plan?
Okay.
Because
I'll tell you.
Hold on. Hear me out, and then I'm gonna give you the final word.
All right.
Ready?
Go for it.
Your book that's coming out. What's it called?
The Divine Quintessence, or the Q.
When does it come out?
I don't have an exact date yet, but we're gonna have that soon.
In the next year?
Yes.
But it's gonna be on paper.
Yes.
Correct. And why are you putting it on paper?
So people can have a tangible book.
And what's importance of tangibility?
I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at.
But the reason that you're coming out with the book is so people, yo, this is what's going on. This is Mike's thing. This is Mike's thing. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'll co-sign, yo, this is what I want to do. Show me the reparations pamphlet. Dude, I'm with you. I'm an advocate. I'm an ally.
Okay.
But if you're like, Adam, what do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, I think certain states, I think, so do the northern states need to pay even though they were free states?
Hold on.
I believe in this because I care so much about this. And because the Jewish people are wronged, black people are wronged. Show me a plan. I'll co-sign it. Go ahead.
Talk about it.
Last word.
You can't have a plan without agreeing that reparations need to be paid. So let's deal with what comes first, right? Do you think that we should give reparations?
I think in a form, yes. How big, how wide, to who? All right, so if your father was from the Caribbean and your mother was...
Don't do that. Just a simple yes or no.
I think there is a case to be made for reparations, yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
All right.
Yeah.
Where do I sign, though? So that's great. Me and the ether saying, yo,
that's
let's
hyperbole.
do this.
Like, we're just talking. We're having an actual conversation.
Okay.
I don't have a plan, right? They don't want to give reparations. So why would I have a plan, right?
Who's they, though?
The government, the American government.
But you said you didn't vote. There's a lot of people on the left that would actually agree with this.
I don't left, right. I don't deal with none of that shit, bro. When people talk about left, right, to me, it's like, you talking to the wrong person. I don't care about none of that shit. You feel me? I don't exist within this system. I have my own system. Everybody talk about, I know Tate talks about the Matrix. Yeah. Yep. People are existing in matrices that they have not created. You can create your own. I have, and I stay in it. I don't care about that, everything else out there. I'm an outlaw. I'm an outlaw for all intents and purposes, right? I live on my own rules. I do what I want to do. I protect myself. I feed myself. I'm the source, the culture, the cultural hub for my family and my community. And that's all I'm worried about. So all these other things, it's not really relevant to me. Democrat, Republican, it's all just goofy. It's just two wings on the same bird. And people really think that these people give a fuck about any of y'all, right? They don't. So you have a very complex system in the United States with all of these codes, all of these rules. All you got to do is go and identify what you need in your life, what you want, and figure out how America can benefit you, and just do it moving. And that's it. I don't really give a fuck about who's in office.
Here's the last question for you. Because I could talk to you literally all day.
For sure.
We just, I'm getting this.
Taking it in.
Because these are the important types of conversations I think we need to have, because I think we're going to find common ground on all this. We could probably get into 5 more topics that we're going to disagree, 100%. Agree. I could do this with you all day. We've hung out Thursday, 5 times, and we've never got... Here's my point. Until that day comes...
What day? What's the day?
The day that these reparations potentially get paid. Okay. Until that day comes, young men specifically got to get out there and make their way in the world just like you did, just like I did.
100%.
Because if you're just sitting at home, I can promise you this, sitting at home being like, yo, did that fucking check come yet?
Nobody's doing that, though.
No. Okay. What can young men do, whether they agree with you or disagree with you or not, to make their way in this world today, in the chaos, the economy, the politics, what's going on, to basically end up like a Mike Rashid without waiting on that check to come in the mail?
I literally have the answers. I literally have the processes. I literally have the systems. These systems and processes and tactics that I have are constantly evolving as the world changes every day. And people that want to adhere to these processes, sacredsociety.io. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
So, sacredsociety.io, that's where people can find you here?
That's where they can access real sovereignty, real power for themselves.
Mike, dude, I could talk to you all day. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, man.
I
Thanks
love
for having
it.
me on.
And here's what I'll tell you. And this on a scale of 1 to 10 on an argument, this is a 1.5 for me.
Just a conversation.
Just a conversation and a needed conversation.
Yeah.
Brother, these are the types of conversations that people need to have
not secret.
with their friends. Listen, we got a DEI over here. She's cute. She's adorable. She don't speak no English, so good.
Does she really don't speak English?
No,
She speaks Spanish.
Oh,
I'm just saying, she's from Colombia.
She's like, there's some English.
These are the types of conversations that Republicans and Democrats need to have, that men and women need to have, that blacks and whites need to have, that foreigners and people who are born in this country need to have, because this is how you find the truth. I didn't agree with 100% of what you said, and you didn't agree with 100% of what I said.
Yes, you did.
But we found common ground.
You just can't say it. You can't say it.
I can't say you're a god. I can say you're godly.
You don't have to say it, because look, reality is reality regardless if you want to acknowledge it or not. You feel me?
But dude, I love you, bro. You're
Too,
amazing.
my brother.
Thank you.
My boy.
Are we gonna see you Thursday? Can we do that?
90%.
Okay.
But I will confirm.
You know who makes shit happen?
Who makes
God makes stuff happen.
I do make shit happen for myself. I do make it happen for myself.
Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Check out what Mike's doing out right there. Give a plug one more time.
SacredSociety.io.
SacredSociety.io. We do the show every Tuesday and Thursday. This is a new vibe. This is a new setup. Thank you guys for being a part of what we do
Thanks
here
for having me.
on Valuetainment. Mike Rashid is always invited. Check out what he's got going on. We'll be back Thursday with a panel, amazing people, and hopefully Mike Rashid. Subscribe to the channel if you like today's conversation. Give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. We out.
We out.
It's the SARS cast, baby.